bromance. So what is bromance?
Bromance is men just being men with no filter.
How is female friendship different from the kind of bond you guys have? Is there a difference?
I'd actually like to differ. Male friendship, they're friends, but they're like brothers in arms. Like, brothers in arms. People have gone for wars for their friends, roasting each other, making fun of each other. That's the true male bond. Roasting each other. मतलब बेइज्जत कर दो उसको.
In the recent times, in past 6 months to 12 months, there have been a lot of suicides committed by men. Okay, and it's across ages.
It's pressure. Honestly, it's just pressure, societal pressure, and your peer pressure that your friends are doing better than you.
How to stay strong, or how to kind of get out of this stressful environments that they are facing?
Honestly, talk to your bros. Talk to your bros. It really matters. It really makes a big difference.
Okay, you just got married to a beautiful lady, Ashna. Okay, now we get to the famous question.
Yes.
When you are in a boat and you have 2 life jackets, and you have Rohan and Ashna. Welcome back to Men Unplugged, where we uncover the untold stories of men, break down stereotypes, and dive deep into emotional and mental struggles often left unsaid. I'm your host, Firdaus Mudassir, and today's episode is going to be both fun and insightful. We are talking about bromance, male bonding, and how having a best friend can enhance a man's life. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us today are 2 incredible guests who also happen to be best friends for over 20 years. We have with us Mr. Rohan Shah, a pioneer in India's 3D printing revolution with Time to 3D, and Mr. Sanket Goradia, an investment professional with a global mindset and sharp financial acumen. Today, we are going to explore not only their friendship, but also the importance of male bonding, mental health, and maintaining strong friendships over time. So, welcome to the podcast, Rohan and Sanket. So, let's first talk about this entire concept that's doing the round, bromance. So, what is bromance, and do you all believe in bromance? What, according to you, is bromance?
So honestly, I think bromance is very subjective. Bromance is men just being men with no filter at a lot of times. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't talk. And sometimes, like us, I think ours is we just go for walks.
Oh.
Just talk about stuff, talk about life. Could be serious stuff, could be jokes. I just hang around. And again, very subjective. Like other few friends of mine, we have to party, we have to rage. Like, सुबह 6 बजे तक करना है.
Achha.
With us, he needs to go to sleep at 11 o'clock.
Of course, investment bank.
True.
So yeah, I mean, very subjective.
What is
for
your...
me, I think it is what beautifully Zakir Khan had summed it up. Bhai ne bola karna hai to karna hai. I think that is your quintessential definition of what bromance is, and I think it kind of goes, it translates across spheres, right? I mean, it could be, bromance doesn't necessarily have to have an emotional aspect to it, right? It could be linked to a financial aspect, it could be linked to a professional aspect. But I think it is somewhere deep down, it is about how you connect.
Right.
And that connect is, I think, pretty much what defines bromance for me, for us, and I think for a lot of people. I think to get a stereotype is difficult because there is no Bollywood movie yet around it. You have chick flicks, you have a lot of chick flicks, so they pretty much define what women bond should be.
Correct.
But a male bond of
you have like
bromance
2 films, you have like Dil Chahta Hai.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And
Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
So it's just banter,
that,
just
but
banter.
that bromance is, more of when you're in college. And I think they fail to capture what happens after college.
That's what Zindagi Na Milegi is, no?
Yeah, that is again recouping after years. Nothing that is
बीच में क्या हुआ?
Exactly. Nothing that is consistent across, multiple phases and time frames.
So I see a very wide smile on both your faces when we are talking about this subject about bromance. So I believe it's been quite some moments, romantic moments that you guys must have had. So if I have to pick, or if you've got to pick a particular moment which has been your most romantic moment, what would it be, Rohan?
Oh my god. I don't know what, salt maybe.
Yeah.
Like our usual, just our like dinners. I don't eat outside food a lot, or
Okay.
maybe like once a month, and he loves eating out.
I eat three times a week. Yeah, thrice a week. So, and so and I think for us, what has been that moment has been, I think, when we've had some kind of challenge in life, professional or personal or something, and for some reason we've been each other's port of call.
Right.
Not because we party together. Our interests are are very different. Right from our, say, food habits to our work, our professional, our educational backgrounds and so on. But it is that connect which tough to put in words, very difficult to articulate what it would mean. But somewhere down the line, it becomes that port of call that, okay, if you are in an SOS situation, the first person you want to call is, say, for me, is, would be, say, Rohan. Maybe not because necessarily that he will be the solution to that problem, but he can be that that partner who just wants to, who you can just express everything. And you just kind of have your sounding board,
Right.
not necessarily look out
I'm
for
in
a
trouble.
solution.
Do you want to join?
Right. So, as you rightly said, something where you just feel the need to pick up the phone and connect as soon as you are in a emergency or a situation like that. Has there been any incident which has made you, Rohan or Sanket, feel okay? Above or amongst all the friends that I have, Rohan is the one for me, or Sanket is the one for me who is my, like the thickest bond that I share. तो कुछ ऐसा मोमेंट था या कुछ ऐसा इंसिडेंट था जिसकी वजह से आपको लग नाउ फॉर अ फैक्ट रोहन व्हेन वी स्पोक व्हेन वी गॉट कनेक्टेड एंड आई सेड आई वुड लाइक यू टू गेट वन ऑफ योर बेस्टीज ऑन द podcast. Why did you choose just Sanket? I'm sure you have a huge bunch of friends.
I do actually. I have a lot of friends. Most of them are very inappropriate. I know someone who's appropriate.
That is my passport to get on the show. That I'm appropriate.
I'm not sure what they'll speak and how they'll speak about stuff, and the kind of stories that might come out.
Okay.
So there you go, right? So that is the point of connect.
Like, yes, I have such
presentable
friends.
somebody to
11 बजे
take to
सो
the
जाता है,
show.
investments करता है.
I'll have a good story to narrate on on the podcast, like of good quality things.
Of course, something
Yeah.
that is not going to spoil your image.
Yes. These are the kind of people I hang out with.
Sanket, what made you feel that Rohan is the one I connect the most with?
So as I said, for me it's tough to articulate why it is so. I think one could be because he's a good sounding board. I've always seen times when I have wanting to, when I've sort of had that want to speak to somebody. He's been there. Like we mentioned earlier, we live close by, so we're just able to meet each other for small walks or like a quick drive, and he's sort of always heard me out and listened intently to give an opinion or give a view. And I think that has always been, there are times you may not speak for days, for weeks, months at an end, but somewhere deep down, you have that one friend or that go-to person you can call, and then you don't have to sort of narrate where you were all those days.
You don't have
and
to
months.
justify.
Exactly, but you're straight there and discussing a problem. So I think
You start out where we left off, kind of a thing.
yeah.
Beautiful. So this makes me ask a very typical question that generally, we all know females have this innate potential of talking too much and sharing, oversharing rather. So we as females do talk a lot to our friends, and that's the reason we have a lot of female friends and stuff like that. But it is very rarely heard that a man has a best friend or a go-to person, as you just said. So in your terms, how is female friendship different from the kind of bond you guys have? Is there a
I'd
difference?
actually beg to differ. Male friendship has been like evident throughout like history. Two male guys, three guys, best friends. They've always been there. Like, and everybody knows that they're friends, but they're like brothers in arms. Like, brothers in arms. People have gone for wars for their friends. So I honestly think that, again, like how he said, like Zakir Khan, Bhai ne bola karne ka to karne ka. Like it's such a thing, it's an innate thing that where you'd be like, okay, my best friend needs it, he's saying something, I'm not going to think about it. If he's saying this has to be done, you have to do it. And when it comes to giving opinions and talking about stuff, a lot of times we're just like, let's just hang. Maybe you don't want to share about something. You'll be like, okay, bro, kya ho gaya? Like, just hang. Like, we'll just go for a drive and just be there. That's just be there. Yeah, just be there. That was enough. I think that is a lot.
So that's the basic difference between a female friendship and a male friendship, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think female friendships, have a lot of aspects to it, right? I think joint interests, which could be, say, maybe shopping, watching movies, could be, multiple things, sheer gossiping. I think they could all sort of, be a driving force for a. I think male friendships tend to differ in the sense that they are very topic specific. It could be relating to one particular stress of life and you bond, or it could be one particular hobby or interest that you could bond over.
Right.
So I think, and of course, the beautiful part is they end up being less expressive than female friendships. Female friendships tend to, have a lot of overtures
Right.
in form of gifts, expressions, in all forms of communication. Male friendships don't have that. They lack. I think there is just that, again, innate sense of comfort that, okay, this person is there, or, we're friends. But I mean, I've never seen those kind of gestures in a male friendship where, they could be more relating to either some kind of a gifting culture or some kind of activity. It's just
I,
hai to hai.
I think the bond is like making fun of each
Inside.
other.
Roasting.
Roasting
Yeah,
each other,
roasting.
making fun of each other.
That is
That's the true male bond.
male bond.
Roasting each other. मतलब बेइज्जत कर दो उसको. And that's like true love. Like honestly, like I don't think women can handle that. I don't think if they were
Yeah.
criticized in that manner, I don't think they'll be able to handle. Oh, my best friend said this. Like
Right.
while we say things that should not be said at all ever.
I'm sure. So, this brings me to a question. Do you think there is a stigma around men being emotionally close to each other, to his friend? Do you think, because what I can understand from the conversation that we've had so far, you've spoken about we just need to hang, we just need to speak. Like, ज़रूरी नहीं है express भी करना या roasting. That comes into the fun category
Right.
of you guys bonding. Let's tap a little bit on the emotional aspect of bonding with your friend. Number one, do you really think you guys do that, or generally men do that? And secondly, many people, that's what we've observed, they shy away from being emotional. Like, बोलना है कुछ लेकिन नहीं बोलना है. तो ये कॉन्सेप्ट होता है मेल बॉन्डिंग में?
I think it does, and I think again it's more of a deep-rooted belief, or that comes from the projection of men to be, or to be an alpha male,
Right.
where they probably, if they tend to be emotional or feel for a lot of things, either there is a
Looked upon as
looked
weaker.
upon as weaker or pansy in that sense, because they will be far more emotive, or I think the whole point is that the way, maybe, and again this is, I think, again just something that we view and see, that the society doesn't like men who complain. I think it goes more with women. You can associate, and these are of course just associations, right? Complaining men are not good, because either they're not doing enough for themselves, or it's just that they probably have just given up, which is why they complain, right? But maybe that's not a license that men get, and I think that's where
it becomes this thing, right, where you're like,
it becomes a stigma, because then you become an outlier, right?
सबके साथ हो रहा है यार.
Yeah,
सिर्फ
exactly.
तेरे को काम का
तेरे को
pressure
काम-
नहीं है, घर पे भी pressure नहीं है, सबके साथ होता है.
So I think if there are 100 men and if 20 are complaining, then there is a challenge. Maybe the time if it's a 50-50 or 60 complain and 40, then that will become the norm.
Right. So again, don't you think this is very stereotypical?
Yeah.
Something that the society has built or put into the men that you are not supposed to cry or crib or complain.
True.
Okay, and don't you think it's high time that men should be talking now? Because if I have to point out certain things, we've seen in the recent times, in past 6 months to 12 months, there have been a lot of suicides committed by men. Okay, and it's across ages. Like there has been a recent suicide case of a 61-year-old man, well accomplished, settled in all aspects of life, yet going through something gruesome like a suicide. And something, I'm sure you must have heard about the father-son duo that went on the tracks and got themselves killed. So I would want to understand what is your perspective on men not this typical stereotypical thing that a man is not supposed to cry crib, and he keeps it to himself.
True.
It's pressure. Honestly, it's just pressure, societal pressure, and your peer pressure that your friends are doing better than you. Your friends are married. Why are you not married? Like, anything. Why are you not being as great as anyone else? Who are you going to complain to? If everyone around you is telling you and comparing you to other people, who are you going to tell? And in fact, there was this one experiment this woman did. She dressed as a man for a year and then she committed suicide.
Oh my God.
She's like, she cannot believe how men are treated. And she committed suicide. I think we've spoken about this. Because the way men are treated overall throughout the entire spectrum, be it in office, be it at home, with colleagues, anything that sort. So it's just pressure. Like, no one expects you to cry and whine about things. Buckle up, get it done. More or less. And Andrew Tate mentality.
Absolutely. That is one of the reasons we have this podcast today, where it is Men Unplugged.
Be strong. Yeah,
We need you to unplug yourselves.
True.
We need you to come out of that entire thing that's been holding you all. You need to unlearn the learned part that you've always been, you're a man, you're strong, you've got to be stoic and stuff like that. And we really need to encourage men to speak, talk, communicate, express. It need not necessarily be always love and romance and everything, but these pressures of life. Why don't we have a lot of female committing suicide? Or for that matter of fact, the number of suicides that I have seen that are committed by women are ideally because of the relationships that they've been into. But when you look at men, their reasons for suicide would be something very different, and this I totally blame the society for creating such a Andrew Tate mentality.
Yeah.
So that is how. So have you all ever shied away from being emotionally close, or have you all shared an emotional bond altogether where your friendship only doesn't last with hanging out, chilling, and and gone beyond that?
Quite a bit, actually. In fact, that's where we bonded most, where I was going through a lot of stuff, like financially and in my personal life. And I honestly did not know who to speak to, because I'll talk to a few of my boys. They're like, "Chal chhod, chal daru pi ke aata hai." Like, where he would be like, "Daru nahi peete. Aaja, we'll sit, we'll talk." Like, tell me what your issues are. Let's see what we can do about it. And if there's nothing to even do about it, just talk to me. Just tell me what it is. And I think that's where we connected more. So we don't go out drinking and stuff like that really as much. But we honestly just go for our walks and just talk about life, what's happening in my family, what's happening in his family, what's happening in love life, what's happening work-wise. I'll tell him I've got this new project coming. He'll tell me, "Ye stock khareed," stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, it's just you have to be open to someone.
Right. So, Rohan, you also mentioned a very beautiful thing that, uh, about the incident where the woman was dressed as a man and she lived a life of a man for a couple of years and then understood how stressful it is. So, you pointed out that a man needs to talk, but everybody around him is stressing him over some or the other stuff. So, he doesn't know whom to talk to.
Right.
What would be your one piece of advice that you would want to give out there to the audience, especially the male audience over there, who are into a situation like the one you just mentioned? How to stay strong, or how to kind of get out of this stressful environments that they are facing?
Honestly, talk to your bros. Like, talk to your bros. It really
Be
matters. It
unplugged.
really makes a big difference. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell everyone. If you have an issue, just tell them. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Honestly. Communicate.
Communicate.
If you tell people what your issues are, they'll help you.
And I think that's the beautiful part about, whatever, bromance or brothers, sort of such close friends is the expectation, right? Your parents may have expectation from you, your wife, your partner may have, your relative may have, everybody will have some expectation out of you likewise. But with friends or with such close, bromance, there is no real expectation, right? It's not it's not forced upon you. It's not something you're born with. It's something you've sort of built. You've become friends over a period. You've sustained and remained friends for a reason. So I think some of these things I think you need, and which is what probably people in this situation will realize deep down, that such connections will matter eventually. Beyond that, I mean, the only thing you could do is, it's the normal, right? Like the self-help and
Get therapy,
get therapy and so on. But yes, I think it will bottle down to a mental health issue, right? And that mental health issue can be very toxic, right? Because it's not something, it's not chronic in nature, that you could sort of the symptoms may not be visible or tangible in that
Wouldn't be
sense.
apparent.
Exactly.
Right. So we've heard about something that men should do. Okay. Can we hear from you, Sanket, one advice where you're telling them that something they shouldn't be doing at all if they want to be in a happy mental and psychological place?
I think one thing you shouldn't is, of course, take the route of not wanting to solve the problem. And I think deferring or delaying it, which is of course taking the route of maybe alcohol or drugs or which will be a temporary relief but will not solve your problem. So I think the point is either to get say a medical help, or have friends you could speak to who could give you genuine and well intended advice on how to get out of it. I think beyond that, again, either channelize or directionally move towards either work or that sort of
Better stream down.
Better stream down. Yeah,
Right.
channelize the energy elsewhere.
Put your energy somewhere,
Yeah.
like how people go to the gym or
Correct.
stuff like that.
So there are many people who end up having best friends made in gym.
Yes,
made at
Gym bros.
exactly. Gym
Correct.
bros. Yeah.
So, how strong is that particular concept? Does this entire thing of working out together has any great level of emotional connect or mental connect among boys?
Again, it's very subjective to something like that. Like now, I have a few friends. We play cricket. That is it.
Okay.
But when we are playing cricket, it's like we're brothers. We're all brothers. We have fun. We don't talk otherwise. Like we're on a WhatsApp group, like cricket today, and that's it. Like we just meet for cricket and that's it. We don't do anything else. We talk about that and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's banter going on. We're not really talking about life as such.
Right.
But it's just that particular thing. We all have a common interest and we're just enjoying that together. That's it.
I think it's very tough to spot that one moment, because with so many people there could be so many unique stories, right? I
Right.
mean, some may say that I met this person, our only common connect was that we travel and train together every day in the morning.
Right.
And you may end up being actually very good friends, because it's one chance. How that chance pans out is destiny, right?
Right.
And that destiny is what, so I mean, my point would be that you cannot shut an avenue or say that the probability that a gym buddy will become best friend
Right.
is far higher than say somebody who is probably your train friend, or somebody whose common association is that you live in the same building, or it could be anything. And that is that intangible portion, which is, you could call it as, vibe of the person, or just how your two energies connect.
Right.
Will be tough to say. Whether it is gym, they are all different avenues to meet somebody.
Correct.
So-
And let me tell you, I've come across males who've bonded over really funny things that, I mean, for us females, it's really difficult to bond that easily with each other.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people who are smoking friends, cigarette friends.
True.
I'm like, that's funny. You just have a cigarette together and you became best of friends.
There are many stories. That's what I'm saying. Avenues are many. People can be friends. I mean, when I was studying, my only one association with 2-3 good friends and we of course are still very good friends, was that we were sort of the only international students in that environment, right? So we had that one thing common, was that we were not locals.
That
Now
is
that-
quite unique thing, not unique, common thing when you go abroad and you find a desi and you instantly
No,
connect.
they're non-desis.
Acha.
The only thing is that we are not from that country.
Okay, foreign nationals
Yeah,
basically.
we are all from different nationalities.
Okay.
But our only common point was that we are not from that country,
particular country.
But that only became a sort of
Connecting
the
point.
similarity that we had. But then how that culminated was, and how it panned out was, again, part of destiny, or what you call as, the bromance.
Help us understand, Rohan and Sanket, when it comes to being emotionally vulnerable. Okay, how open or how difficult it is for men to be emotionally vulnerable to his friend. For example, like if a girl meets her girlfriend, okay, out of 5 times she's crying, or she's emotionally vulnerable to that particular person. How about men? How does this go in the entire bromance concept?
It's far less than that. Like, I think it has to hit a peak for a man to then cry. 100 बार मिलेंगे, एक बार शायद ऐसा मोमेंट आ जाएगा कि यार लाइफ बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेसफुल हो गई है, like shit has hit the roof. Till then, we'll man up.
I think it is taboo. I think there is no two ways about it. I think maybe societal expectation, or just the way society operates, is that there is that expectation that the boy or the man will own up to the situation and probably will be that fighter out of that situation.
Right. Again, the stereotype.
It is all
Stereotype where agar चाह के भी you want to cry out of, say, as you said, 100 times may once, but I'm sure there would be times when out of 100, maybe 50 times you want to cry, but then you shut yourself, saying, no, I'm a man, I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like, देख लेंगे यार. Like, just.
But does that
boils down
help,
to
guys? Does that help?
Depends, honestly. Sometimes no. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I wish I spoke to someone. I like, it's too late now. Like,
I
if
think
I would
these
have
are
spoken
immeasurable
earlier.
things.
Yeah.
Because you can't measure, so you can't know the damage.
Right.
Right? It's not fever that I can tell you it's 104, it's 105 now, and so on, right? The challenge that happens here is that, you may have a stress, you probably learn to live with it, and either you move on and, and there is always a new day brings a new stress also, right? So you move on. But yes, like he said, right, that probably there is a peak or the problem is beyond your control, and then, you'll seek external help, and that, will be your bro.
But then doesn't this contradict with the entire relationship tangent that you have with your friend, where you have to, that thing keeps on piling up, and as you said, once it hits the roof is when you open up to your friend or be vulnerable to your friend. But then what's the point having a friend if you've got to wait for that peak?
Because that's, till the time the peak comes, you want someone to just like forget everything else, forget all the worries in life, and just hang out.
Isn't
And
that escapism?
it is of sorts, but
Isn't that?
No, I think if it's until it's manageable, you're. I mean, see.
I don't need to talk about it right now. Of sort, yeah.
I mean, because if you can solve it, you can solve it, right? I mean, there is no, I mean, what is it that is at stake that that you really need a discussion on, right? I mean, that is what you have to kind of first decide. That what is it that I need to, I mean, just because you have a friend, would it mean that, okay, every problem that you face, you just pick up the phone call and say that, listen, I have a problem? Because, I mean, if you can solve it, by your own self, then that is a bigger self-help that you might want to do, right?
Right. So you try, men usually want to do it themselves. And
I think
then
anybody
see.
would. I mean, I would, if you would be able to solve it by yourself, I mean, when would you want to seek help? I mean, naturally.
I want to seek help on day one. Means if I have a friend, I am of the opinion, or generally women are of the opinion, that if there is a problem, and if I have my set of solutions, but if I speak to my friend, my sister, or anybody who I am comfortable with, I will get another set of solutions. Probably I'll have the choice, to understand the best way to handle this particular situation. And now with the entire now since we just have a very cool show running, the Call Me Bay, where they have the Behen code now. Y'all always had the bro code.
Bro code.
Now there is Behen code. So I mean, that's what I want to understand. Why we've got to, in the first place itself, when you have access to a friend, when you have, is it that you all feel that your friend is going to think of you being less of a man, or your masculinity is going to be questioned, so wait till you reach the peak?
honestly, it's not that. It's just I don't think anybody, no man, I think really talks about your daily struggles and your daily issues as such. And yeah, like ठीक है यार, it's a part and parcel. You just move on.
So you're wired like that.
Yeah, we're just wired like that. It's just
You're wired
like,
to.
and most of it, I would guess. I think I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but I don't think most men even talk about their daily issues, even with their wives or their family. They'll talk about the broad things, the upar se and everything, but I don't think they'll talk about everything. I don't think
That's
anyone
right.
does.
Or I mean,
That's what I think. I think that's the issue. I think married man will be telling you that. Do you tell every single thing to your wife?
I think it's bad. Now, I mean, right or wrong is again
Subjective.
right? I mean, how do you and where do you draw the line? I think it's all about where you draw the line, right? That maybe if it harms you, if it's harming you mentally, emotionally, then yes,
you need to speak about
you
it.
need to speak about it.
Yeah.
If it is not, and it's probably making you, or rather you're using that to channelize you into maybe a stronger or a better person or a more rational person, then maybe it's more constructive than you think it is.
Perfect. So one thing that will probably put you in a spot now, Sanket, women usually have a choice to give to their husband. Aapka dost ya main? So that's something that I've heard a lot, and I've heard a lot about men being in a fixed situation with two relationships, the mother or the wife, the best friend or the wife. So have you been in that situation so far? You've just been married, you're a newly married guy,
Yeah.
but still, do you think that has ever occurred or something like that?
Well, not. I mean, yes. I mean, of course, there are times when it does, come up. But I think I'm probably in that space of balance right now.
Right
so
now,
I'm
there's-
not. Yeah. So it's not really a war that I'm
Yet
torn
to
apart.
come.
Yeah.
Yet
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I
I'm
do.
not
I
fighting.
actually become friends with my bros' wives.
So that
Oh
we get
my.
to know. Yeah.
So I am sorted. Like, then they call me the Sotan. So my bro is safe. Like,
Exactly.
Like, I'll deal with your wife, man. You relax.
So then he's putting
We're
in
not
the
torn.
extra
Exactly.
effort
Yeah.
to make sure that your relationship goes good.
Good.
And
We're all able
I
to
get what
hang
I
out
want.
together.
The wife can figure out.
Yeah.
We'll wait until you get married and we'll see how that goes.
Exactly. I think we should have a part
For-
2 of this
yes.
before and after.
Of course, as soon as Rohan gets married, we're
Yes.
definitely going to have a conversation on this. How you've been dealing with.
Exactly.
Now we know you deal with your friends' wives. Let's see how you deal with
We'll
your
have to
one.
pick that bro code and then become friends with his wife that way
Yeah, of
that
course.
she allows him.
In fact, a very close friend of mine got married, and his wife's birthday and mine is the same day. So all these years, for like about 18 years, he's wished me first. And now that his wife's birthday is on the same day, I'm like, "Tu kisko wish karega pehle?" He's like, you. I'm like, okay. Chalo." And then at his mandap, I was like on the mandap with him when he got married. I'm like, you can wish her first from this year onwards. Like, oh, thanks.
That's the
And it's on
sacrifice.
camera.
Yeah.
That's the sacrifice. But of course, the jealousy part occurs here too.
Yeah. No, true.
Okay, all fun and in all good spirit. Let's talk about life has been stressful for everyone, like, and especially in today's competitive world where you are competing to set your career, to have good relationship, to maintain your relationships, and etc. I'm sure there's a lot of stress added in each one of our lives. Does your bromance or your having a best friend as a, I definitely know it helps as a woman because we ideally speak a lot, but does this particular relationship of having a good male best friend take away stress or reduces your stress in some way?
A lot, I think.
A lot. No, definitely it does. I think.
Yeah.
I think the it is necessary because you're in the same phase of life. Your struggles may not match to the T, but you will be in the same universe because you're most likely to be in a similar age group, in similar junctures of your career. Or for that matter, even in your personal life, you would have gotten probably married with barely any difference with your bros. So you will be it definitely does help because you either somebody has already faced that problem and he's sharing that solution
Correct.
with you, or is experiencing, or is in your boat.
Correct.
Right? It is like people who become couples who become new parents.
Right.
They all have solutions to pass to each other.
Correct.
Because they've gone through very similar
experiences in life. So Sanket, for a fact we know that for a good number of years you were out of India and you were not that accessible to Rohan. So during that phase, how easy or difficult was it to maintain your friendship? Because as they say, long distance doesn't work. So did you all find it difficult or how did you all manage it?
So, we would, still speak, on the phone. So, it was not, I'd not gone in the postcard era where, it was, next to impossible for us to, communicate or, to talk, to be generally updated. I think with, of course, with, Instagram and so on, you're pretty much even connected through, it could be as simple as sending forwards or memes to each other and, your connection is still
Alive.
is still alive, right? So we didn't face that. Of course, there is definitely a level of distance because you're not day to day. You're pretty much entrenched in your own lives. Your challenges are far different, right? He never had at that point food related, laundry related, or any household related challenges.
Yeah.
So he definitely would not be able to relate to those
Correct.
aspects. But I think these bonds also evolve. When I was not here, and so our communication would also. But yes, having said that, it doesn't change the underlying.
Right.
That is what I would really highlight. Yes, he may not have been my SOS when I was over there because of the distance. But
Yeah.
having said that, it is not that there has been a time that whenever I would be in India and we have not met each other or just met each other for half an hour and so on. It's probably been even if whatever there have been family or other commitments during the day and we have not met each other at night or something. And there I know that he's also moving. Sort of going out of his comfort zone to meet at a time that is convenient to me because I was there for limited
Right.
period. So I think these are things that do translate, they evolve, let's put it
Right.
that way. Yeah.
And it's just like, I think now we're just so used to the amount of friends that we have abroad. When they move here, like, you'll try to make that time to meet them at least for a day if you can,
Correct.
half an hour, 1 hour, whatever that you can. Because it's years of friendship, like, it's just a lot of love bond that you have with so many people. Like, I am constantly in touch with at least about 30 to 40 people every day by just sending memes
Yeah,
and
okay.
reels to all of them and throughout the world. All my friends spread across, like, from US, Australia, everywhere. And that's just how we stay in touch with our friends. And when they are here, you meet, you hang out, and that's it.
And the one big advantage is that
Video calls. Video calls.
call, and he's either way a night owl, right?
Night owl.
Yeah.
So when you're behind, so if it is 10 p.m. for me, it was either way, 2, 3 a.m. here. So it
That
is still
helps.
easy to communicate.
Yeah.
His bad bedtime habits helped
exactly
maintain
help
your
to maintain
relationship.
relationship. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's something to be credited for.
Yeah.
So now let's have a little fun segment over here.
Sure.
So this segment is for you, Sanket. Okay. Now since we are hearing quite some safe answers from you,
Yeah.
let's trick you down. I'm going to ask you just 5 questions, very quick, no thinking, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, and you cannot trick us back. Okay, you've got to be real. Okay, you just got married to a beautiful lady, Ashna. So quickly, Ashna's date of birth.
30th September,
Rohan's.
4th December,
Ashna's favorite color.
black, white,
Black or white, Ashna, he isn't sure. Rohan's favorite color.
black.
Oh my. Ashna's favorite food.
It's across, but Italian.
Rohan's?
Rohan is home food.
What home food?
Shakshuka. Shakshuka. Keeps
Okay, now
having
we
it
get to
in
the famous question.
the house. Yes.
When you are in a boat and you have 2 life jackets
Yeah.
and you have Rohan and Ashna. Ashna, I hope you're paying attention to this. Whom would you throw off?
I think he will only jump by himself. So I don't have.
मैं स्विमिंग करके आ जाऊंगा तो करो.
Yeah. I think मुझे इस पे पूरा भरोसा है. मतलब he will ensure that I don't get into that spot. That is
That
again
is
your
the bro
underlying
code
bro
that we are
code.
talking
Yes.
about, and that is the understanding level that we are talking about that men usually share with their best
Exactly.
friends.
They'll never put their best friend in that situation of. Yeah.
In serious stuff. Otherwise, for
In
fun,
serious.
absolutely.
Yes, that is different. But in serious, I think you will never ever have a a best friend who will sort of intentionally
Put you in a spot, yeah. Of course, and they'll be the first ones to save you out
to
of
take the
it.
bullet for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll take the bullet without even
Thinking,
complaining
yeah.
or thinking.
I think the reason I'm not getting married is because how much I've troubled them, I've made fun of them.
It's all
And
gonna get
he's
back.
He's waiting. He's got this one really horrible video of mine that he's like, ये तेरे शादी के stage पे दिखाएंगे हम लोग."
I hope I'm invited to view that.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Nobody's viewing that video. Nobody's viewing that video. Unfortunately, he keeps sending it to me every few months.
To remind him.
ना अब
But
तेरी
yeah.
बारी है.
Oh,
Exactly.
I've-
And है हमारे पास.
They're all
you have
waiting.
the ammo
They're
ready.
like wolves waiting for me to get married because I've made a lot of fun of all of them.
I'm sure about that, and I'm waiting too for you to get married now. And of course, with all the videos coming up, I'm excited.
Oh
Yes.
no.
I'm definitely excited about that. So now transitioning a little bit on the serious concept of your businesses. You two come from very 2 different industries, absolutely different. Your educational background isn't the same. So coming to you first, Rohan, you are into 3D printing, and as much as I know about you, you are into something that is exceptionally creative and something that is definitely a boon to the industries that are adjacent to the entire concept of marketing and stuff like
Right.
that. So can you help us understand what exactly are you into?
So 3D printing is basically an additive. It's called additive manufacturing. It's a manufacturing method where a product is made layer by layer with very less wastage than compared to regular manufacturing. While currently 3D printing cannot do mass manufacturing, but it's perfect for doing prototyping work, custom make works, and if you want, say, just 100 pieces.
Right.
It's better to do it via 3D printing than to make a mold or get a cast or anything made because it's more expensive, more time consuming, while 3D printing will be much faster, much more accurate, and probably cheaper even.
Right.
Absolutely
So
cheaper.
usually you have the 3D printing work done for what I've recently come across is for the Ganpati pandals and all the kind of different stages and the themes that you make. Is that where 3D is
It's
involved?
different, not really. So we do a lot of stuff where it could be anything. Let's say you're a manufacturer who makes these mugs, but you want to see what your mug looks like before you make a mold. You want to
Okay.
touch it, feel it, see the size, see if
Okay.
it holds the right amount of liquid in it. So you'll get one piece 3D printed prototyping, check how it works. That's one aspect, prototyping. Then you have medical, then you have architecture, engineering. So we cater to nearly every industry. Jewelry, so about 70% of the jewelry in the market is 3D printed.
Okay.
If you need to make a scale model, let's say you're a builder, you're an architect, you want to make a scale model of your building.
Right.
We'll make a scale model of it, say 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet.
Movies.
For that. Movies. So we work with Warner Brothers and all of these guys when,
Okay.
like if you see the Thor's hammer is 3D printed, Iron Man's suit is 3D printed. Because you can't manufacture that in bulk. You'll get a 3D printed, do the finishing, paint
At times you do not have the requirement.
You don't
of-
need to do it.
Yeah. You
So
just
you'd rather
need
get a
one
3D
or
printed.
two of them, and that is where you come into the
Exactly.
picture. Okay. Any particular success story you have, or something that you can share with the viewers?
We've worked with, you could say, nearly name the top 10 companies in our country right now, Reliance to Tata's, Birla's. We've worked with all of them. We make prototypes for all of them. We make scale models for all of them because they're in so many different fields
Right.
of FMCG to architecture to all of that. We do for them. We work with films. We work with advertising guys. So currently we worked with Warner Brothers.
Wow.
We're currently working with Lloyd Steel. We're doing lots of work with them. We work with a lot of event companies who do events for like liquor brands, Macallan, Glenmorangie,
Right.
Monkey Shoulder. We work with all of these guys. Tata's, Birla's, where Aditya Birla, where they make prototypes for their FMCG products in
Right.
different materials.
Right.
Plus, just so many different kind of things.
Wonderful. That's completely creative and something very not heard of, especially for the layman. I'm sure the
Right.
biggies and the brands definitely know about this concept. So just in case you are like me who doesn't know much about it, figure out what 3D printing is and how it can help your business scale up and add that creative touch to your business. So I'm going to put a link of your website and your
Absolutely.
inquiry
Thank you so
form
much.
in my description. You better check out what times to 3D can do to scale your business. With this, we come to understand what Sanket can do for us. So Sanket, what are you exactly into?
So I'm into public equities. By that, what I do on a day-to-day basis is we look for long-term investments, and at the same time we look for what you'd call as positional trades and sort of swing trades
Okay.
that are there. But we focus on Indian equities.
Okay. So basically, you are, if in layman language, if I have
Investment
to say,
firm.
you can help people invest in the right way.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, if you've got to be rich, if you want to be rich, you know whom to connect. Again, I'm going to share details where you can get connected to Sanket, and he can definitely help you invest your funds and build a better future for you. Whatever your goals are, he can help you attain your financial goals at the earliest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for
for
having
having
us.
Thank you so much, and it was great conversing with you. It was great knowing about the entire bromance and the bro code and all the fancy terms that we have.
Exactly.
But in short, understanding how men work, how their mental health work when you're talking about male bonding and male friendship and everything. So guys, if you could resonate with today's conversation, make sure you put your thoughts in the comment section, and do not forget to like, subscribe to Men Unplugged. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Damn.